Welcome to Bruised but Not Broken Teatime, a show examining women of the Bible and the lessons applicable to women of today. Grab your favorite cup of tea and let the spilling begin. With panelist Veronica Wormley, Nina Rose, Jermeen Porter, and Tasha Clopton. And now welcome your host of Bruised but Not Broken Teatime, Virginia Adams.
Welcome back, ladies. We're at the second part of the show. First question. Eve had a wonderful marriage and lived in perfect peace with Adam. Then a moment of indecision brought chaos. Now her view of marriage has changed. Can you help today's Eve know the difference in making indecisions and right decisions?
Can you help today's Eve
know the difference between making indecisions and right decisions? Because her life changed. Dr. Kennedy, there's always two sides to every story, so tell us. I'm going to ask a different question.
Okay.
I'm going to ask about being ashamed and unashamed, and we'll get back with the indecision. Dr. Kennedy, there's always two sides to every story, so tell us, what does naked and unashamed look like, and naked and ashamed look like?
Okay. So naked and unashamed, I think being exposed to oneself or being exposed to one's quote unquote sins or shortcomings. And I think the unashamed part may be part of that innocence of not knowing. I think we related back to Eve, biblical times, they did not know what would happen. God told them not to do it, and they did it, and then they were exposed. So there was that innocent part to it. But I think there's this nakedness, being exposed to yourself, being exposed to your true self, and it can also be a shamed part of it if you did it, knowing what the consequences would be. And then you are exposed. I think that's where the shame potentially comes in today's in our relationships, or even personally with any other experiences that we have. So that's how I'm thinking of ashamed, being nakedness and unashamed, and versus nakedness and being shamed.
A young woman approaches you and asks, what does unashamed and naked look like, and ashamed and naked? What do you tell her, Jermeen, that's going to help her?
If it's something you need, if it's something you need to hide, then don't do it. If it's once it's something that you need to hide, something that you are not proud of, something that you cannot be bold about, then that's something that you would be ashamed of. As far as being like people that have a difficult past, when they build up to where they're supposed to be, and somebody tries to pull them back or exposes how far they've come, then now that new person that they have taken the time to build, to learn to be, once somebody strips that away, they would probably feel naked. But now if you let that be stripped away and it's your testimony, now you're naked and unashamed, because you've shown your growth, and you've shown where, because God does that. He'll make it so that nobody can get credit for this growth, this new you, but him. Nobody else is gonna get credit for that. So when you can do that, you can be naked and unashamed.
Okay, Nina, I have no idea what it means. Naked and ashamed versus ashamed and naked? I'm really confused, and I need you to elaborate on that and tell me what's the difference. Talk to me like I'm a child.
Okay, wow, like you're a child. That's such a very innocent way to put it, because that means you really have to break it down and make it simple. When someone is naked, and that means that they are themselves fully. They're not covered. They are themselves. And they are unashamed, meaning that they understand that they're on a journey, which means there's going to be mistakes, and there's going to be some bumps. There are going to be some lessons, and they are allowing others to see their journey. They're allowing others to question them. They're allowing others to, they would talk to others about their journey. They would share their journey.
Okay.
They are naked, meaning that you see even the parts of them that they, wouldn't want you to see. You see that too. And they are unashamed because they are able to explain those to you. They're able to say, I got this from here or there. Or I haven't developed that part yet. That's why that part of that muscle or that body, if we're thinking about it in the physical, is not developed in that area, but I will get to that part soon, So I think being naked and unashamed is a state of mind, and it shows in your everyday walk. And I think it's something that every woman should get to, because when we are not there, we become a disservice to each other, because we become so ashamed and so covered that no one sees who we are. And then when you have a sister right next to you going through the same thing, she can't do nothing because you so covered up, you so pretty, you so polished all the time. They had no idea that, how to even get through something. They didn't even know they can come to you about it. So I do think being naked and unashamed is a state of mind that every woman needs to become, so that it would not only be helpful for them, but also helpful to others surrounding them.
Tasha, talk to your audience and tell your audience the difference between being ashamed and naked and unashamed and naked. And make it plain for them, because if you don't make it plain, you're going to lose them. So you got to keep them in there. So give me something that's going to keep them there.
Freedom. Free to walk in my case, free to walk in Tasha land. Be Tasha in this world. Free to worship, free to praise, free to repent, free to make mistakes and then learn from them. Free to check myself when I'm clowning. So my little running joke is, the prophet Teddy Pendergrass tells us that you can't hide from yourself. Everywhere you go, there you are. And so if you don't understand that, then you can't be, you can't pour from this empty cup, right? We're drinking our cups of tea, but if nothing's in it, now I'm running to the kitchen to get something. I have to be authentic. That doesn't mean like tell every little bit of your business all the time, because you have to be careful with whom you share, right? But you do have to be open and willing enough. I'm free to call Nina and say, Nina, this happened. And I'm also free enough to let Nina check me if I was the clown in the situation.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, Jackie. Naked and unashamed, what's going on? And when you're ashamed and naked, what's going on?
Well, I just really quickly, I wanted to kind of backtrack and piggyback off something Nina said at the very end of what she was talking about, when she spoke to the fact that, you have your sister standing next to you, and because you're so polished and so pretty all the time, they can't. That I had that happened to me in my real life, because, I have unmarried friends, and they look to me to be like, something of a, I don't want to say role model, because that's but they look to me to set up as a different standard, right? So when I started to complain, or if I said something, that was off kilter about my life, it was like, you know, and one of them said, I didn't even know you had problems.
Oh wow.
Because, you know, because that's what you do.
Mhm.
And that leads me to being, you know, naked and unashamed and naked and ashamed. Right now, I think that I am naked and unashamed. I'm naked and unashamed when I'm talking to my therapist.
All right, all right.
Because, you know, I am my full on self. You know, I'm open and I'm living in my truth. I'm living in my truth. I'm spilling it all. There's nothing that's off limits. And I'm in therapy because I lived my life being naked and ashamed, because I was out there, but I wore these masks all the time.
Okay.
I was hiding who I really, really was, you know, from people. Nobody really knew who I truly was because you saw what I wanted you to see.
Mm.
And you knew what I wanted you to know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I talk about self-awareness. That's my journey right now is self-awareness. It's boundaries and self-awareness. So yeah, I'm fully naked and I'm unabashedly unashamed about everything and who I am right now.
And that's beautiful.
That's so good.
Yes,
good.
yes. All right, Veronica. I know you can't wait to answer, so here it is. Naked and unashamed compared to naked and ashamed. What's the difference of the two?
Honestly, I have to agree with Jackie. Same thing. You know, you let people see what they want to see, what you want them to see, per se. I mean, it's been instances where I've allowed people in that know, and I'm like, okay, I can be 100% completely open with you, and there's no shame in it. And then you have that moment when you're like, okay, let me go ahead and put this face on. Underneath it, you don't know what's going on. You know, we're being honest here. So it was those times, and you guys that are closest to me on this panel can attest to those moments when it just got so bad to where I said, you know what, I don't want to wake up tomorrow. And I tried to end my life. And some of you were there for that, but nobody on the outside could see that. All they saw was, okay, she's fine. She's out. She's doing all these different things. She's enjoying life. And I was miserable. So I let you see what you wanted to see. So that's when it came to that whole, for me, being naked and ashamed. Now, I'm just free with it.
Okay.
I'm free. I have a sense of freedom that is ridiculous. And it took me to go through a lot of things to get to this point. So I had building blocks. I had those, as Tasha said, you have to, you know, God has got to take you and put you back. He had to let me veer off. Okay, she's not listening. Let me go ahead and let her veer off so I can get her back on track.
Bump your head a little bit.
No, it was more than bump my head. I got ran over by a train. So, but after that, and once I was okay, so it was one of those things like when you're in the military, they always tell you we have to break you down to build you up. And that's basically what happened. That was me getting from my naked and ashamed to my naked and unashamed. I had to be broken completely down, all the way down to nothing, to be built up to where I am today. And that's a testimony for a whole nother day. But that is what naked and ashamed and naked and unashamed is for me.
Okay. Thank you. All of those were wonderful answers. I love them. I love them. I love them. Jermaine, after Eve ate the forbidden fruit, she gave some to Adam. Why did she offer the fruit to him? Was she setting him up for a fall?
I say she didn't want to, if she thought what she was getting was so good, she didn't want to leave him behind. She wanted to share that goodness that she thought she was getting.
Okay.
Because me as a woman, especially as today, the last thing a man should do is be in a position to where we don't respect you. Once we don't respect you, we pretty much done with you.
Right.
So I think she was thinking, well, if I'm gonna be up here, what I'm gonna do with him if he down here? So
this
you
was
either
a
gonna come up
status
here
quo?
with me, you gonna share this fruit, and you gonna come up here with me, or I ain't got, how we gonna be compatible when I'm up here and you down here?
Well, they the only two people on the earth, so where she
Well, she would have been looking.
Pickens was slim.
Well, hey, that's like today.
Right.
Pickens are slim. You got a lot of single women out here in this world who has chose not to, mate because it was just below them. It's just below them.
Yeah, that's true.
So it's the same thing.
I think that's what that's one of the ways.
Okay.
She could have been thinking. Just one.
So Jermaine, you think she was just pulling
we in this together? I ate it, you eat it, we eating it together, we're a team.
Completely.
Well, and I think that, as women, we're nurturers by nature. You know what I mean? So this was, maybe it was her being, nurturing. It's, this is good for us. I have no idea why that, I have no idea why that God person said this, we shouldn't do it, but this is good for us. This is a good thing. And let's experience this together.
She was feeding her boo some grapes. Here, boo.
Okay.
Eat the grapes.
I think I like you guys' perspective that she was, trying to lift him up. And the way I looked at it was that she knew she was clowning, and human nature, as evidenced by this first story of disobedience, is that we don't want to do that by ourselves. So it's always your homie that's like, I know we ain't supposed to be cousins.
We gonna do it together.
Come on. It's just this one time, because they don't want to go down alone. But I do like the perspective you all gave too. But yeah, human nature, again, as evidenced by the mother of creation, we like to do this by ourselves.
Right. We're a team. We doing this together. I go down, you go down.
And I like the nurturing piece, because it is true that she did not understand what those consequences were going to be, or she never would have led him down. If she understood the gravity of this simple but huge act of disobedience, she wouldn't have enticed him to eat this apple. And Adam was like, hey, it wasn't me, it was this woman you gave me. You made this, God. I was down here minding my business, and then you put me to sleep and said I needed a homie. That's on you.
We still get thrown under the bus.
Girl,
yeah.
And backed up. You hit beep.
Some believe to do unto others as you have been done to. So if Eve was set up by the serpent, why did she involve her husband? Was she repeating what had happened to her? Dr. Kennedy, what do you think was the reason?
So this is related to what was just happening, the conversation, as far as Eve, was she causing Adam to fall? Is that what you're asking?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I agree with everyone else. I was just enjoying listening to the perspectives of everyone, that I don't think she intentionally, that her intentions were to have, to make Adam fall or to bring him down, that she enjoyed it and that she wanted her husband to enjoy what she had as well. So I see it from that perspective.
Okay. What do you feel was the reason Eve gave the fruit to Adam? Was she setting him up, Nina?
I was just thinking, as Dr. Kennedy was speaking about it being innocent, sort of thing, but at the same time, Adam received the same message she did, right?
Right.
Did he receive the same warning she got?
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
So he was not set up.
That's right. That's
He
right.
knows that. He knew what he was getting into.
Right.
He knew. Even if she did not offer it to him, something in me said he was gonna try it one day. One day. Sometimes it's certain things you want to do anyway, and it becomes easier when someone else, you like, I was just about to do that. And they made it easier for you. They built that bridge and was like, well, come on over. Come on over.
But what do you think Eve's mindset was when she offered it to him? Now, even if he knew better, but what do you think was going through her mind when she decided to give it to him?
I would think that she was, I don't think she wanted to be alone. I think most women make decisions based off whether they want to do it, if they want to be alone or not. And considering she was like, we joked about if they were only ones there. That was the only person she could share with. And instead of moving forward in life, she chose to bring him with her because she didn't want to be alone. And I think if we relate that to today's Eve, a lot of women do a lot of things today because they don't want to be alone. Even if it's not good, they still partake, they still offer, they still giving out treats, so to speak, because they don't want to be alone.
A piece is better than none.
Yeah, something is better than none. A piece.
If she had gave that fruit to a billy goat.
You said what?
I said if she had gave that fruit to a billy goat.
Well,
we'd have talking goats.
All I can say is that she gave the fruit to who she wanted to move forward with, and she was prepared for to deal with the consequence. And I think a lot of women today give their fruit to who they want to, and they're prepared for whatever consequence that comes with that. And sometimes they make decisions based off loneliness.
You have a friend who says all the time, Nina, loneliness can make smart women do dumb stuff.
Dumb things. Right. Right. That's so true.
So Tasha, was it a setup?
We take that a step, Virginia, we take that a step further, being naked and unashamed, then you will be able to figure that out. Like somebody will be able to figure that out or help you see, like Tasha was saying, that hey, you're making a dumb decision right now. You get what I'm saying? Like, don't move forward with it because you're lonely or you don't want to end up lonely.
That's true.
I think, and I have not answered any questions, but I think that once she ate the fruit, because she ate the fruit first, so her eyes was open. So is it a possibility that cunning had gotten into her, and this was more of a cunning move than a move that I want you to be with me? Because her eyes at this point, she knows all knowledge of good and evil. And so her eyes was open. And so now, was this somewhat of would you say this was like a sneak move? I'm doing this, I'm messed up, so I'm gonna mess you up too. Is it possible?
Yes. Again, I did it. I see what's going on. Uh-oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Come here.
Or I think that, I don't know. I guess I don't want to ascribe this evilness to it. You know what I mean? I think because if she did, she ate it first, and she could see now. So now it's like, this is dope. Look here, taste this.
Okay.
And this is dope. Look, I know everything now. This is dope. This is where you want to be. I don't know why he didn't want us to know this, but this is where you want to be.
Yeah.
Anybody got a piggyback?
She did. I think, again, I still say she knew she wasn't supposed to do it.
Right.
So, yeah, I'm not doing this by myself.
Exactly. Right. And I agree with Tasha. I know, okay, I wasn't supposed to do this. It's dope that I can see it, but if I can see this and he can't, come here, taste it. Just taste. Don't ask me what it is. Just eat it. Eat the cake, Anime.
Hilarious.
Just one taste, huh?
Man,
Just
one
what?
little
Just
bite,
what?
just one little taste. Just taste it. Trust me, it's gonna be okay. And that's what it was. You saw what was going on, so you're like, okay, I can't be here by myself.
Yeah, and my understanding is that she instantly felt shame. She knew.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
We
What
in
I'm
this
doing.
That's what
together,
I'm saying.
husband.
We're going together. Hey, love you.
Man, we in this together, husband. Come on. You my husband now. Come here.
Us
Oh,
married.
you know what? And that just made me think. So with him being her husband, him being her husband, would he still have been responsible, even if he didn't taste it, even if he didn't eat it? Because they're one flesh, regardless.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So it's like he was in trouble anyway. So it's that concept, well, you did it and I'm already going down anyway. So
I think he should have stopped her.
like, well, what
He could have
happened?
stopped her. Yeah, he could have stopped her. Well, ladies, we're down to the wire. Last question. Listen carefully. Dr. Kennedy, let's start with you. Today's Eve has found herself in a hard place. She has listened to the serpent, eaten the fruit, involved her husband, and is ashamed. She's no longer the woman of the house, and she can't even look in the eyes of her husband any longer. She don't trust him. She don't have loving eyes, and now she's forced to live with her own regret. Today's Eve is in pain from choosing to listen to the serpent. She's in the same exact situation. Dr. Kennedy, what is your advice to her?
Well, I think I need to frame my advice as a single woman. So I'm not married, so I cannot answer or give advice to that part of what to do as a married woman and how to move on. But I can speak from a single woman's perspective of being a woman and how to move on, and connecting the story of Adam and Eve to today's Eve, realizing that each person, God cursed Adam, God cursed Eve, and God cursed the serpent.
Mm-hmm.
But afterwards, God then clothed Adam and Eve. So then recognizing that even in our mistakes, even in our sins, that God will cover us, and that there's always a place where we can start over. We have to be recognize our actions and our consequences to the actions, and then how do we start over, and how do we move forward in whatever our mistakes may have been, and who we listen to, and then even where to seek and where to find that godly advice, people who will encourage you and to support you to move to a better place. So I'm saying that as a single woman. Again, I don't know what it would be like from a married woman's perspective, but that's how I would move on as a single woman, realizing that even in my lowest moment, God still loves me and cares for me, and that does not remove me from God's plan or will for my life.
Thank you for that. Nina, you have an opportunity to help today's Eve. She has listened to the serpent, eaten the fruit, ashamed, and living in regret. What words of wisdom would you like to impart on her?
Rephrase that for me. Say that again. Say the question again.
You have an opportunity to help today's Eve.
Okay.
She's listened to the serpent.
Okay.
She's eaten the fruit. She's ashamed, and she's living with a regret. What words of wisdom would you like to impart on her?
Right. Lift your head up. It's done. It's over. Move forward. Move forward with the new information you have. Move forward with the new wisdom you just received. And do not be ashamed. Do not be ashamed. Someone else, there's many Eves out here they're gonna go and bite a certain fruit of their own while they're on their own path. raise your head up, keep moving. It's gonna be okay.
That was beautiful. Tasha, listening to the serpent caused major damage. What would you like to tell today's Eve who finds herself in this situation?
And the first thing is thank God for Jesus and his reconciliation power. Somebody posted and it blew my mind. It's so simple. We know it. It was just articulated. God plans for our life includes our screw ups. Wow. Super simple. But then you're like, wait a minute. I'm over here beating myself up. He knew I was going to jack this up. Well, thank you. You know, that doesn't mean we take advantage and we just do what we want to do all willy-nilly. But he knows us and he knew what was going to happen. And yet he still uses us for the purpose that he called us here for. No simpler than that.
Thank you. Jameen, the damage has been done. What is your advice to today's Eve?
Baby, did you touch that hot stove? It hurt, didn't it? Don't do that. Did you learn your lesson? Don't repeat it. Let that happen one time.
No,
You got plenty of other mistakes you can make. Make other mistakes. Don't make that same one again.
Don't be a repeat offender. Veronica, Eve needs advice. What's yours?
You got to move forward. You can't sit and bask in what you may think is your shame. Use it, build on it. Use it to become a better person. Use it to help the next person. Just don't sit back and wallow in, oh my God, look what I did. I did it. Okay, it's done. I can't change it. I got to deal with the consequences because I did it. So now let me use this brain that I have, that I was given, because I'm going to think my way out of it. But I am going to have to figure it out without just holding on to it and internalizing it, because that's going to make it even worse. So just, okay, I did it. Hey, I got to take, as everybody said, I got to take this L because I did it. I did it. I can't do anything about it. Let's see how I can maneuver from it, how I can grow from it. Everybody is going to make some type of mistake. It's how you recover from it. I have made a whole bunch of them, a whole bunch, and it's how you recover from it. It's not about how somebody's going to remember that person did such and such. No, let me do something now to make sure this is not what you focus on. Let me show you what I call this glow up, because I'm not that same person. So let me show you something different. Let me show you who I am today. We're not focused on that back there. That's in the past. I have a future. I'm building on it. So just, don't hold on to it.
Okay. Jackie?
And if you, just one more thing. I'm sorry, Jackie, but if you want to include, the first part of your statement was your husband, you're not looking at him the same way. Jameen has stated before, not today, but before, that you have to put God back in the middle of that.
That's true.
If God is not in the middle of it, it's not going to work. It's going to fall apart. So once you get to that point to where you realize, okay, hold on, something's missing. And when you realize what that something is, and it's God, whether it's in your marriage or it's in your personal life or it's in anything you do, if he's missing from it, it's going to fall apart and it's not going to work the way you want it to work.
That is true.
So, and as long as you know, okay, if you don't like me, I don't care. If you are sitting back talking and dwelling on my past, he's not. He's building me up for something different, bigger, and better. So there it is.
Thank God for being wonderful. Jackie, You have the last word. She's ashamed, regretful, untrusting, and hurt. What should she know to help her?
Oh, you had a bad day. No, like everybody said, you can't, the one thing that you can never get back is time. So you can't do too much dwelling on what happened. But what you can do is you can, that mistake that you made, you can remember how you felt in that moment. You can remember how that made you feel. And you can strive not to do, not to feel that way again. And again, it's about self-awareness. You have to realize what you did, in that moment, recognize what your part of it was, what you did wrong, take responsibility for your actions. And as long as you take care of you and make sure that you don't make the same mistakes again, then everything else is going to fall into place. Even though she gave the apple to Adam, you really can never control anybody else's actions.
That's true.
So you can only control yourself. So if you take responsibility and you are self-aware and you do what you're supposed to do within yourself, then everything else is going to fall into place. But you don't beat yourself up. You don't talk down to yourself. You pick yourself up, you move forward, and and be prepared for that next mistake, because if you think that you're never going to, make a mistake again, then that's just dumb. So you prepare for that next mistake and just have the self-awareness that you need to be able to navigate any situation.
That's true. Well, ladies, this was a wonderful, wonderful discussion, and we've come to the end of our discussion. My final thought. You are the present day Eve. So pay close attention to how you handle the serpents in your garden, in your relationship with your mate, and things that you have close to you. Listening to the wrong person can lead to situations that can end in shame, guilt, and questionings of your loyalties. Because believe me, Eve, the setup is real. Thank you and good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
The host and panelist of Bruised but Not Broken Teatime do not proclaim to be Bible theologians. Rather, they are a group of Christian women seeking to examine the actions of women from the Bible and offer personal perspectives on how these situations apply to women today.
Bruised but not broken, battered not worn. We've been through it all, but we weather the storm. It's all about women empowering us all. We've been through so much, we've taken much more. Women together, much stronger and more. Yeah. Bruised but not broken, battered not worn. We've been through it all, but we weather the storm. It's all about women empowering us all. We've been through so much, we've taken much more. Women together, much stronger and